The following conversations are taken from our channel membership exclusive weekly live show that we do on Saturdays from 10 a.m. Pacific Standard Time to 11 a.m. Pacific Standard Time called Members Talk Live. Find out how you can become a member and appear on the show. All of the information is down in the description below, as well as all the links to the channels of today's guests. Check them out, and I hope to talk with you very soon.
I'm curious who writes the synopsis on this webpage, because like on Sasquatch Sunset, a year in the life of a singular family, and
that'll get me to the theater. Like that's so
perfect. That's all.
It's like when you're ordering food and all they give you is just like one piece, like a sample size piece, and that's all you're gonna get. I mean,
it's a burger. It has meat in it. That's it. That's it.
Thank you for joining us for another edition of Members Talk Live. We got a fun show to talk about today. We got Happy Gilmore news, which I never thought we'd have. Dune, exciting news for Dune Part 3. We got some James Gunn reveals for Superman, and we've got some Joker 2 updates. But before we get to those main topics, I wanted to chat with the panel here about April, the month of April for movies, because there's a lot coming out in April that I think there's a lot to be excited for. And so I have up here Movie Insider, just going through some of the movies that are coming out. We can just kind of discuss. You guys can stop me if you see something that you guys are interested in that you want to talk about. Starting up here, we have Monkey Man, which I actually saw the other day. Did you guys have a chance to catch Monkey Man?
I'm seeing it today.
Nice.
I saw it last night.
What'd you think, man?
I loved it. It was nothing like I expected it to be. I thought it was going to be a very straightforward action movie, but I think it dove a lot deeper into, it was more of a psychological thing for me. And Dev Patel was just amazing. Dev Patel was fantastic in this movie.
I agree with you there. I thought Dev Patel was great in Monkey Man. The movie itself, I did find kind of rough, a little bit disappointed with it, to be honest with you. Slightly disappointed with it. I do have a review up right now that you can check out. But yeah, I thought it was good. I liked it. But honestly, for me, it's not very memorable, if that makes sense. Like I probably wouldn't watch it again anytime soon. It's just kind of a little bit too formulaic and cliche for me. And I've just kind of seen it a bunch of times. But what it has that other movies don't have is that Indian culture and that just that passion that's brought to it by Dev Patel. And so in that way, it does stand out and it is unique. But it's not a high recommend for me. But it's enjoyable. But I'm glad you loved it, man. And I hope you love it too, Ryan, when you get to see it. Frank, do you have any plans to see it?
Yeah, on Monday, actually. Nice. I was going to buy it for tonight, but there are other plans that I've forgotten about it and then remembered that I have for tonight. So, yeah, I pushed it to Monday to watch it. But, yeah, I saw the trailer, and like Tia said, it's got that psychological thriller kind of stuff. So that's my kind of thing to get into.
Yeah, it's got a lot that does work for it. I will say that. There's a lot that works. There's just a couple things that I did have trouble overlooking. I'll put it that way. As we go down here, I don't really recognize anything.
So stop. Strictly Confidential. For some reason, I stumbled upon this movie streaming. It is the worst. I stopped it maybe 20 minutes in. It is complete. It's terrible. I grew up, the psychological thriller, the erotic thriller, per se. And I said, oh man, these are some nice looking women on the cover. I'll stumble on a hidden gem. Maybe it is definitely the worst acted, the worst movie I've seen this year, probably in the last 10 years. It's terrible.
Ooh, 10.
Yes, it's that terrible. Like, and I don't usually stop movies because I want to see the end, because there's like a mystery behind it, but you don't care. Like after 10, 15, 20 minutes, you're like, what is this? Okay,
oh boy,
moving on.
All right, so there's a high endorsement from T there for Strictly Confidential.
Yes.
I mean, it does make me want to watch the movie. I'm not gonna lie. Let's see here. It looks like a bunch of smaller films. Some of these could end up being fantastic, but I'm just not really familiar.
I think I've heard
with
of
any of these.
Scoop. I read a
Scoop?
review from that. David Eilrich. I may not be pronouncing his last name right, but it's about the royal family and Prince Andrew and his shady connections with Epstein.
Oh,
Okay.
Yeah, it's about the interview that sort of broke the dam on that whole issue.
Wow.
Oh, it's on Netflix.
And it's on
I might have to
Netflix
check
too.
that
I
out,
noticed
yeah.
that.
I might have
I
to
will
check
have to check that out then. That sounds very interesting. Let's see here. Going down to next Tuesday, April 9th. The Joker 2 trailer comes out this day. That's what I'm looking forward to.
Ooh,
Right?
I cannot wait to see that trailer. As far as the movies, I've not really seen anything, but then it gets
Civil
big
War.
here.
Oh,
Civil
yeah.
War.
Mhm.
I'm looking
Oh,
forward to seeing Civil War. Have you guys heard anything from? I've been reading a couple reactions on Twitter. Really good response. Really good responses so far.
I don't know.
I try my hardest to stay away from. That's why I haven't watched a review of Monkey Man until I do my review, because I don't want you to incept your thoughts
Yeah.
into my review.
I'm the same
And
way.
I do the same.
Yeah, I
do
feel
the same
that
thing
too
with
about
reviews.
reviews.
Yeah.
I try to review Blackout as long as I possibly can, and
Mm.
even I'll admit, like, again, I like looking at Rotten Tomatoes. I know it's a bit of a controversial flashpoint, but I like reading reviews, and Rotten Tomatoes does a nice job of
Yeah.
collecting them into one site.
Same
And
here.
even then, it's like I'll try to like blind my eyes. It's like nope, I don't see the number. Just scroll.
Yeah, no, it's not a perfect system, but Rotten Tomatoes is kind of the best for collecting all the critics' consensus and being, like what percent liked it, what percent didn't like it. It's still flawed, but it's kind of the best we have. Like, it's way better than IMDb, that's for sure. Anyone could go into IMDb and do that. But yeah, Civil War definitely looks like an intense thrill ride. Looking forward to seeing that one. Anyone going to go see the Shrek 2 re-release? Because if it comes to my theater, I'm kind of tempted.
Wait, is it 2 decades old now?
Yeah, 2004. It came out in 2004.
Nope. Fake news. Nope. Nope.
So don't tell mom the babysitter's dead. I don't know
they're
if
doing
any
a
of you
remake.
guys have seen. Have you? I don't know if you guys have seen the original. This is R-rated.
have.
Okay, that's interesting. That's
I noticed
take.
that too. That's not like the original. The original's like PG. Like, it's like a kid's.
It is
Yeah, I
definitely a
thought
kid's movie.
that was my
That
thought
so was
too.
Winnie the Pooh. Winnie the Pooh was kids, and now look at where we are now.
It's building a universe.
It grew up with its audience. That's what it did.
I guess, but yeah, this is. It's not high on my list. I don't think it's even playing here, but if it does, I might go see that just to review it.
I didn't even know that was happening.
I saw a preview of it maybe a month ago. It's a black cast now, so it's different, which I think is gonna, of course, affect people going to see it, because there are a lot of remake haters. I'm not one of them. I don't mind a good reboot or remake. I don't hold them to high regard like I do the original, but yeah, this is something I'm interested in.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't realize it was in theaters. For some reason, I thought it was coming to Amazon Prime or something. But
me too. Yeah, I think it might be in theaters for maybe a week or two, and then because I really thought it was like a streaming thing.
Yeah, I thought so too. But my wife loves the original, so we might have to go check that one out. This one has my attention. Sasquatch Sunset. Have you guys seen the trailer for this? Who is Jesse Eisenberg, right? Yeah, Jesse Eisenberg. It's a Sasquatch.
Okay.
Well, this is the limited release. I don't know when it comes out fully, but I definitely have my attention on Sasquatch Sunset. It could be really cheesy and campy, and I'm looking forward to it.
I'm waiting for you guys' review on it. I read like some reviews where people said they walked out on like some film festivals that it played in. Like, people walked out, and I saw the preview maybe a month ago or something, and no thanks. I get it, like, it is something different, and I'm all for creative art, but yeah,
I'm
There's a
curious who
line.
writes. I'm curious who writes the synopsis on these on this webpage, because like on Sasquatch Sunset, a year in the life of a singular family,
It's not
and
wrong.
That'll
Perfect.
get me to the
Probably
theater.
not
Like
wrong.
that sold me.
Perfect. That's all I need
yeah,
to
give
hear.
me It's like when you're ordering food and all they give you is just like one piece, like a sample size piece, and that's all you're gonna get. I mean,
It's a
come on.
burger. It has meat in it. That's it. That's it.
You know what? That's enough of a taste for me. I'm all in on that. And
Oh,
one of my
wow.
one of my odd obsessions is Bigfoot. Like I'm so fascinated by it. So that's right up my alley. I'm looking forward to that.
So you're a big Harry and the Hendersons fan? Is it...
I do enjoy that movie. I'm not even gonna lie. When all the Bigfoot come up from behind the trees, I'm like, that's how they're doing it. Confirmed. Let's see what else we got. I've heard a little bit about Sting. That horror movie. I think that was getting some pretty Woody Woodpecker. I thought this movie already came out. Is this like a sequel to a movie or something? Because I thought this like CGI Woody Woodpecker movie was already out. I guess they did a sequel to it. I saw the image for this like the other day, and I was just like, hasn't that movie been out since like 2015? But I guess they're doing another one.
It's on Netflix, so Netflix will pay for anything.
Except
Really
for
not.
Coyote versus Acme, apparently.
I think Woody Woodpecker is like really popular in like Brazil, I think.
Oh, okay.
I think it's like the one country where it got a theatrical release of all places.
How about the Fallout series? Anyone looking forward to the Fallout series?
I don't know. It looks kind of cool. I never got into the games. I had a friend in high school who really enjoyed the games, so maybe.
Yeah, same way. Let's see here. Going down a little bit more. Let's see here. There's not too much. Food Inc. 2. I wonder what that is.
Exploration of the dangerous
of the food system. Okay, that's always fun.
Sounds like
April
a documentary.
15th. Yeah, it does, doesn't it? Is it limited? Okay, it's not coming on. I thought it would be Netflix or something. Let's see here. Wednesday the 17th. Nope. Abigail on the 19th.
Oh, there it is.
There we
That's
go.
what I was looking for.
And
no plot details have been announced. Are you sure? Because there's a trailer. I'm sure you can figure something out from the trailer.
Oh, that's so funny.
Ballerina vampire.
A kidnapped vampire child kills its kidnappers or goes crazy on his kid. Like I could write something for this.
So this just brings me so as I was watching Monkey Man, and I was watching the film, and the film to me is like a totally different tone than the previews. And I really wish that they wouldn't have spoiled the Abigail, like the reveal. I think if I would have went into the theater, not have seen it. Now, of course, I would never go to the theater due to this picture. Like I'm not going to see a ballerina movie. So you have to suck me in. I felt the same thing about American Fiction. Like it sucks you in with this one premise, and then the movie's something totally different. I hope that there is I don't see there being any difference between the trailer and the movie, because I feel like they gave the entire movie away in the trailer of Abigail. I'm still going to watch it because I'm very intrigued on how this little ballerina girl dismembers this crew of ragtag, thieves or robbers or whoever they are, security guards. Like, why would you hire this group, that particular group of people to watch over a kid? But yeah, I wish they would have held that closer to Vess, or they could have held it closer to Vess, the whole vampire thing, because I think that would have been like just this, it would have, I think, raised the movie's value as you watch the movie, as opposed to seeing it in a trailer.
It's a fair point.
But then they couldn't have done the fun thing with the title at the end of the trailer where they make it look like fangs.
Or what if you it would just been a secret?
What if you teased it in the trailer and then the fangs at the end, and it was kind of like, oh, is this a vampire movie? Like you just kind of had that
you don't know. You don't know until you see it, and then the movie she just starts killing people.
Yeah,
that was just a thought.
But the movie does look fun. The movie does look entertaining. I'm definitely interested in going to see it. So another one that I'm interested in is the Guy Ritchie new movie, The Ministry of Ungentlemanly Warfare. I'm very interested in that.
Yeah, me too. Because Guy Ritchie is a workhorse. Like, I think pretty much starting from 2019, he's released a film each year, every year, sometimes twice in 1 year. Because, I don't know, that one, got the one film Operation Fortune movie and what was the one with Jake
Covenant.
Gyllenhaal? I'm blanking here.
Oh yeah, The
Covenant.
Covenant. Yeah,
Yeah, Covenant.
Underrated. Such a good movie.
That was a good movie.
Yeah, like he, and the only reason he even missed out on 1 year was because of the war in Ukraine, and like Operation Fortune had Ukraine bad guys, and they were like, Ugh!
Yeah, no, that's true. But this one, set in 1939, the British are being pounded by Germany and mainland. Yeah, that sounds great. This sounds really great. I'm looking forward to that one. There's Sasquatch Sunset in theaters, so that'll be officially on the 19th. Ooh, a double feature of Abigail and Sasquatch Sunset. That sounds like my kind of Friday. That's what I'm gonna
we gotta
do.
check in on that.
And then we got, of course, Rebel Moon Part 2
yeah.
on
there it
Netflix
is.
coming out. What are we feeling about Rebel Moon Part 2 now that we've seen Part 1? We still haven't seen the director's cut, the official movie, but Part 2 is coming out. How are we feeling about the second part? Because I'm like, I'll check it out. I'm curious to see where they go with it, but I'm not like excited for it.
I was extremely excited for Rebel Moon before it came out, and I almost want to miss this one because that's how bad the first one was to me.
That's fair.
Oh,
I enjoyed it enough, the first one. I thought it was there was enough fun sci-fi elements and action in it, but it definitely like did not do much to get me hyped for the rest of the franchise. And I know a lot of people just like flat out did not like it. So you're not alone there, T. You're definitely not alone there. What did you guys think? What did you think, Frank?
yeah. So I'm glad that this is coming out in just a few weeks. But because I have not seen the first one yet, so that's where I'm at.
You got some time. Double feature.
Yeah.
It's all on Netflix. It's all on Netflix.
It is.
So
yeah.
I'll tell you this: if it was in theaters, I probably would have skipped it. Especially after watching the first one, I probably wouldn't go see it but because it's on Netflix, yeah, I'll put it on when I have time.
So for me, I mean, again, of all the people who did not like it, like I didn't hate it. Like there were, I mean, of all the bad movies I've seen, this one at least had a moment every year where I was like, oh, this is actually kind of well written. But then for every one of those moments, there's a lot more where Zack Snyder's like, slow-mo? Well, don't mind if I do.
Oh, there was so much. There was way too much slow-mo in that movie. It was ridiculous.
Yeah, I mean, it's like, and as for a director's cut, it's like, he hasn't had anyone tell him no since the Snyder cut of Justice League. What does he need a director's cut for?
Yeah, it was just, the whole thing's just a really stupid marketing stunt. It's like, oh, you like the Snyder cut? Well, we got another Snyder cut coming, and it's like, you're missing the point of what the Snyder cut was. It's not just the fact that Snyder has unlimited screen time to work with. Like, it was his version that got like completely destroyed by a studio and wanted to see what he had to offer, not some gimmick that Netflix is trying to pull here. It was, ridiculous. Left a sour taste in everyone's mouth, I think. Moving on to, I think that's about it for April, honestly, unless you guys see anything else here that sticks out to you. Challengers. I know is something. Challengers.
Oh, there we go.
Oops. Yeah, Challengers is something that's on a lot of people's radar. When is that? That's the 26th? Okay. Yeah, Zendaya. What is she making out with like two other guys or something? That's all I've ever heard about this movie, and I'm just like, oh, okay.
Yeah.
That's
not too far off.
Yeah.
The only image I've seen from this picture is the two guys on her neck. Like that's the only thing I've seen. And
I saw a trailer.
Like, can't wait.
Yeah, the trailer looks interesting. I think this is more of a Zendaya thing. Like if any other actress would have been in this film, other than like a huge star like Jennifer Lawrence or something, I don't think people are really, dying to see the movie. But I think it's because it's Zendaya coming off of Dune 2, and like she's a really hot name. Yeah, she's a really hot name right now, and people want to see her something different. I think that's what everyone is really going for, and to see her make out with two dudes.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I will probably check it out if I hear some pretty good things, which I'm already hearing on Twitter some pretty decent, pretty positive reactions to it. So we'll see what it's got. The Knuckles series comes out on Paramount Plus that day as well. I know a lot of people are looking forward to that, and I really liked that trailer that they put out. Like, I haven't been the biggest fan of the live action Sonic movies, but I really liked the trailer. I thought the humor worked. I thought it looked great. What do you guys think of Knuckles? What is your excitement level for that one?
I say bring it.
Yeah, I mean, I'll watch it because it's on Paramount Plus, but I'm not like super excited for it. I wasn't a big fan of Knuckles in the movie. But you just passed over Boy Kills World. That's gonna be that's gonna be good.
Yes, it is.
I have not actually heard of that one yet. A dystopian fever dream action film. All right, cool.
It's starring the guy from The Crow. I can't think of his name. He was Pennywise in It.
Oh, Bill
Alexander
Skarsgård.
Yeah, Bill Skarsgård.
Yes.
Bill
Yeah, Bill Skarsgård.
Skarsgård.
Yes, yes, it is. You watch the trailer for that. You'll if you like action movies, it looks like just this crazy kind of upgrade. What was another one that in the vein of just somebody just goes around just kicking people's ass for like 90 minutes.
Nice. That's all you need. Cinderella's Revenge. That's interesting. Cinderella is pushed too far by her evil stepsisters and stepmother, which causes her to switch out her glass shoes and use the assistance of her fairy godmother to seek bloody vengeance. Yes.
Thank you, Blood and Honey. Thank you.
That is
that Blood and
something
Honey?
I get into.
Is that Blood and
weirdly.
Honey?
No, I don't know,
Honestly?
but it's because of Blood and Honey that movies like this are getting made.
I wouldn't be surprised if that was Blood and
Wow.
Honey. I'm kind of into that.
Yeah,
I'm
alright.
into
Okay, that piqued my curiosity.
Cinderella's Revenge. That's awesome.
Justice, right?
I'm into that.
Turn
I'm
the
into
other
that.
cheek, my ass. Like,
I
stab
think-
some jerks.
Oh wow.
Yeah, I think that about does it for April. So yeah, lots of stuff to look forward to. Michael, what's going on, dude? Thanks for joining us, man.
Good. Can you guys hear me okay?
Yeah, you sound okay.
Yes.
Yep.
Okay, cool. Just making sure, man. I'm in my car right now. Just dropped off the girlfriend for the weekend at her parents, so just making sure the Bluetooth works okay.
Nice. Did you catch any of that segment? I didn't see that you were in here before we ended that segment. Was there any movie that stuck out to you?
I did, yeah. No, I did. I was actually listening to the live stream as I was driving my girlfriend over to her parents' house. I did see a lot of movies I liked. There was one movie I noticed. I wasn't sure if you mentioned it or if you guys saw it, but it was a movie coming out on April 19th. It's called Villains Incorporated.
No, I think we passed over it. Yeah.
We passed it. I noticed that it said Villenue.
Yeah. No, that's I'm actually interested to see that because that was actually filmed in my hometown.
Oh, cool.
It's
That's
cool.
exciting.
The trailer is interesting. Honestly, if you guys have ever seen the movie Super with that James Gunn directed with Rainn Wilson, it's kind of like another version of that. It's kind of like another version of that movie. It's like that, Kick-Ass. It's got one of the guys from that TV show, Whose Line Is It Anyway? And they filmed it in my hometown, Chandler, Arizona. So I'm actually looking forward to that one.
Awesome,
Nice.
dude. That sounds great. Well, speaking of things we're looking forward to, let's get to the first topic here. You know, when Dune came out, I think it came out 2021, so it was still kind of like pandemic times, right? So I think it got overlooked by a lot of people, myself included. I didn't really see the first Dune when it was arriving the first time. When Dune Part 2 was announced, then I was like, okay, I'll wait until that comes closer, then I'll check out the first part. And I feel like a lot of people seem to do that because Dune is now like the hot new thing. Like, especially with Dune Part 2, there's a lot of a lot of rave around Dune. And after Dune Part 2, I think it's gone on to make like $600 million. There was never an official announcement for a Part 3. But, I mean, come on, you look at the box office, you look at the hype, there's no question there's going to be a Part 3. And now we have official confirmation there's a Part 3. This comes to us from Entertainment Weekly. They say, sometimes dreams do come true. That's as true for Paul Atreides as it is for Denis Villeneuve, who now gets to make his third Dune movie. Legendary confirmed on Thursday that they are currently developing a third movie in the sci-fi franchise based on Frank Herbert's original novels and are also in talks with Villeneuve to adapt Annie Jacobson's nonfiction book, Nuclear War, a scenario after that. Villeneuve just told EW in 2021 that his goal all along was to make 3 Dune movies. Dune Part 2 completed the adaptation of Frank Herbert's original 1965 sci-fi novel, but Herbert wrote 5 sequels before his death in 1986. And the first of Herbert's sequels, 1969's Dune Messiah, is what Villeneuve wants to adapt for his third movie in this series. All right, guys. So throwing it to you. I mean, is anyone surprised that we're gonna be getting Dune Part 3? Where's your hype level at after Dune Part 2 for Dune Part 3? Let's start with you, Ryan. What are your thoughts on this? Do you think Dune Messiah, because I know that you have all the Dune books, so I know that you're the fanatic here. Do you think Dune Messiah is the way to go, or do you see a way that Villeneuve could adapt his own story based off of where he left off in Part 2?
So, I guess I should note that without going into spoilers, the Dune Part 2 ends a tad differently than how Dune ends, and well, Dune Messiah, the screenplay would need to make some adjustments for that. But beyond that, I'm very excited. Like, again, just Dune Messiah there are some big plot revelations, and Dune Messiah, like the book at least, expands the world building and really challenges Paul Atreides in ways that are very cerebral. So I don't know, I'm very happy, for a Dune Messiah film adaptation.
After finally seeing Dune 2, I haven't reviewed it yet. I just haven't found the time to actually do a really good review of that film yet. But I'm excited. I mean, I enjoyed the first Dune. I didn't love it like most people did, but I enjoyed it. Dune Part 2, I also really, really liked, but unfortunately I didn't love it. But I like these movies enough to get excited for a new one because I like what Denis or Denis, whatever he wants to go by, I like what he's done with this franchise because Dune is so hard to do. Like David Lynch tried it in 1984, which was even David Lynch said that was a really bad mistake. Then there was like the TV miniseries from the 2000s with the special effects that looked like PlayStation 2 graphics. So I'm glad that they were finally able to give it a proper, adaptation. So like I said, I like these movies enough to see what he'll do for Part 3, and I'm all in for it, man. Just take my money.
How about you, T? I mean, do you think they should have gone with the new director for Part 3, or are you happy that Denis Villeneuve is going to complete his vision?
Oh no, it has to be Denis Villeneuve for this. I mean, they could have gone a different direction, but I think that he has such a great knack for getting what he sees across on the screen that anybody else, I don't think, would have done it justice. And it's very easy to screw these things up, as we've seen with like known franchises. When you put it in the wrong director's hands, it's very easy to go left instead of going right. So I definitely am glad he's coming back. Where the story goes from here, from what I've heard, at least, like I've never read the books. It goes in kind of a different direction than the end of Part 2. Like Part 2 kind of ended on this very hoorah, everybody like racing into space. But I think from what I've heard from Dune Messiah, it starts just a different tone. And maybe because they changed the ending, like Ryan said, they changed the ending from the books, that could be why. But I mean, I'm definitely going to watch it. I didn't, I'm not super excited for it, but I'll for sure go see it in the theater.
Listen al Caib. I really want to shout that louder, but I don't want to wake the neighbors. Oh gosh. No, I'm definitely bring it. I'm excited. I feel like Part 2, and I've seen it twice in theaters, that it basically just set the stage for any possibilities and everything. I mean, you look at Peter Jackson's Lord of the Rings. I mean, a brilliant trilogy, and we could be walking into another brilliant trilogy of this decade. So, it's something to absolutely look forward to, especially sticking with the same direction.
I mean, I do think definitely in this article when it mentions that after Dune 3, he's going to be working on nuclear war scenario. I feel like that's probably why he decided to do Dune Part 3, because I saw an interview with him recently where he kind of talked about how, like, these movies have been a lot of work and a lot of energy from him. And if he can get like the perfect screenplay, that's the only way he'd do Part 3. And I'm sure the studio looked at that too and was like, Denis, come here. Look, you're doing Part 3. You're doing Part 3, but in compromise to you or whatever, or to make it up to you, your reward, you can do any other movie that you want to do. And I feel like that's kind of where this project came from after that. But I'm super excited. I'm hoping he's not going to get burnt out because, I mean, 3 of these size and scale films, especially the part 3 is probably going to end up being I would imagine the longest and probably the biggest of the trilogy, just because it has to have that epic finale worthy of the size and scale. So I'm looking forward to seeing what he does. I have full faith in him, and yeah. Do we buy or sell Denis Villeneuve coming back for Dune Part 3? I think we all agree. Yeah, absolutely. Total buy it. I cannot wait to see what he does with Part 3. All right, moving on from a sequel that I could not be more excited about to a sequel I could not be more nervous about. Happy Gilmore is one of my favorite Adam Sandler movies. Like in my top 5 Sandler movies, it's probably Happy Gilmore, Billy Madison, 51st Dates, Wedding Singer, and Big Daddy. Like those are the ones that I love, that I always go back to. Sandler recently hasn't really been my favorite comedian wise. I think he's done some really cool dramatic work, and I like the direction he's going down in his career at this moment. Like, even though I didn't really enjoy Spaceman, I appreciate that he took that chance and went down that route. But it looks like he still has a little part of him that wants to do this comedy, because he's going back to Happy Gilmore. This comes to us from Screen Rant, who says, Adam Sandler confirms that Happy Gilmore 2 is currently in the works. Released in 1996, Happy Gilmore remains one of Sandler's most beloved films. The movie, which was directed by Dennis Dugan, stars Sandler in the title role as a hockey player who tries to make it big in golf to save his grandmother's house. In March, Christopher McDonald, who played Shooter McGavin in the film, let slip that Sandler was working on a script for a sequel. During a recent appearance on The Dan Patrick Show, Sandler confirms that the development on Happy Gilmore 2 is indeed moving forward. The actor doesn't reveal any story information, but he does share that the original movie writer Tim Hellery are currently hard at work on the script, and that it would be made, shocker, as a Netflix production, because Netflix is just kind of where Adam Sandler lives at this point. I'm so nervous for this. I love Happy Gilmore so much. It's also unfortunate that this is happening after we just lost Carl Weathers, which the character did pass away in the first one, but I'm sure he was probably figuring out a way to bring him into the script. It's such
twin
a
brother
goofy,
dream sequence.
yeah, something like that. It's such a goofy movie. It's such absurd concept that even at the end of the first movie, they have him in the sky waving with the crocodile that bit his hand off. Like, it's not a serious movie. They could have found a way to bring him in, and it's kind of unfortunate that he passed away before this could happen. But Adam Sandler comedies in the 90s, I feel like they live in such a specific era. I don't know if it works nowadays. And even just taking Adam Sandler specifically out of that equation, comedies that come out like 20, 30 years after their original, they like Zoolander 2, Dumb and Dumber 2, like they hardly ever work. And do I have faith that Adam Sandler is going to be able to crack the code to make it work? Not really. And I love this movie so much. What do you guys think of the news for Happy Gilmore 2? T, I'll throw it to you first. Are you a fan of the first one? And are you excited for the sequel?
I absolutely loved Happy Gilmore. One of my favorite movies, period. Like, not just Adam Sandler. It came out of, I'll be the first to admit, I did not watch Billy Madison. I've never gone back and watched Billy Madison. I've gotten a lot of flack for that because a lot of people hold that in very high regard. But Happy Gilmore was my first Adam Sandler movie that I watched, and I absolutely loved it. And that's probably one of the reasons I didn't go back and watch Billy Madison, because I didn't want it to not be as funny as Happy Gilmore. Because it just the premise itself is so different than, a lot of his other movies. Am I excited for part 2? Yes, because to me, like, Adam Sandler is still funny. We've just moved away from his style of humor. Like, and of course, it doesn't work that like he's like 50 or 60 years old. Like, his style of humor doesn't work for an old man. Like that like toilet humor, I guess you could say. Like that a lot of people like to call it. Like, that doesn't really work for, like, I don't want to call him elderly, but like he's older now, like that silly, like. But I mean, the fight with him and Bob Barker will forever be etched in my mind as one of the greatest movie moments ever. But I mean, I'm definitely gonna watch it because it's gonna be on Netflix. If it was in the theater, I probably wouldn't go see it in the theater, but because it's on Netflix, I'm there for it.
That is kind of the fun of Happy Gilmore, is he's such a sweet, likable guy, but he can turn angry so fast. I love when he like pulls the guy's shirt over, punches him in the face, and punches him out of his own shirt. As a kid, I thought that was like the most epic thing ever. I loved that part.
Why didn't you go
Frank,
home to your hole?
Right.
Frank, what do you think of the news for Happy Gilmore 2? Are you a fan of the first one? Are you excited for the sequel? Do you think that Adam Sandler can still make a Happy Gilmore work in 2024?
I feel like we're in an age of where sequels are being worked on and are like way past overdue, and we still don't know how we feel as far as because we still gotta watch like Beetlejuice, and the sequel to Beetlejuice is something to kind of see and still honor the original. So I would say the same thing for Happy Gilmore, if it honors that the 1986 one. And honestly, I'm just looking forward to that nostalgic feel, because you look at Adam Sandler, you also think about Ben Stiller, you also think about Jim Carrey. Also, like these actors just owned the golden age of comedy back then. But the question is, does it still hold up? And I'm kind of glad that this is going to be released on Netflix, because you sit home and you want to you playing yourself like a little Adam Sandler marathon to this point for Happy Gilmore Part 2.
Michael Anthony's in the chat. He said that his technical difficulties caused his stream to crash, but was happy to be part of the show for the time being. But yeah, thank you for joining us, Michael. Sorry that happened, man, but great to have you here, and I'm glad that you were able to be a part of it for a bit. We'll see you again next week, man. So Ryan, Happy Gilmore 2. Does it work? Is it a good idea? What do you think?
Well, I don't know. I just think it's kind of darkly comedic how they waited for just the right moment for like two of the biggest stars of the first one, Bob Barker and Carl Weathers, to die. Like, it's like you just could have worked a little bit faster. And I will admit, like seeing like you reading the article, I was like, oh, this is good. I like this. And then I saw to be released on Netflix, I was like, because again, I mean, I enjoyed, what was the basketball movie he did?
Hustle.
Yeah, Hustle. I enjoyed Hustle. Guy gave a really good performance there. A lot of really cool basketball players giving solid performances, but Adam Sandler has shown that he can be a good dramatic actor on Netflix, a good comedic actor. The Do-Over, anyone?
Didn't watch that. I enjoyed Murder Mystery. I thought that one was. Me and my wife really liked it.
Yeah, I didn't get through it. I didn't finish that. Hubie Halloween. I've never turned off a movie faster than Hubie Halloween. I could not stand it.
Such a good movie. Me and my once again, another movie me and my wife really enjoyed. Like, we enjoy goofy comedies, and it didn't get more goofier than Hubie Halloween.
I agree with that, but I'm glad you guys loved it. I'm glad you guys really liked it. So Happy Gilmore 2, it's happening. Do we buy or sell? Happy Gilmore coming back for a sequel. I'm just so nervous, and the track record of sequels comedy sequels, especially coming out this later. I don't know. The cards are not in its favor. I'm not going to buy it this time around.
Can't be any worse than Ricky Stenicki. I did not enjoy that comedy.
Had its moments, but overall, I didn't like that one very much at all. We're going over to Superman, heading on over to DC. Look, James Gunn, I love you, but you might be on social media just a little bit too much. Because I don't even think he was provoked this time around, guys. I don't even think that James Gunn was responding to someone, was being harassed online. I think he just literally was like, you know what? I saw an article somewhere, and I'm just going to address it, because James Gunn decided to just get on social media and let us know, guys, the villain for Superman is obviously going to be Lex Luthor. So here's what James Gunn himself had to say. This comes to us from, of course, Threads. James Gunn said the primary protagonist of Superman is shockingly Superman. The main villain of Superman is shockingly Lex Luthor. I don't know where all the stuff is coming from, that it's something other than this. There are so many stories coming out every day, it's difficult to deal with, and every time I strike something down, I'm giving it attention. So I'll say again, don't believe anything unless you see it here. And why would you want to know anything before the movie comes out anyways? With a heart and a cheeky mermaid emoji? Is that
I think that might be Aquaman.
Is that
but...
That could have been.
Is he trying to tell us something there too? Look, I'm not shocked. I'm not shocked that Lex Luthor is going to be the villain for Superman. Well, it's not Legacy anymore, but Superman. But there was that talk going around, there was rumors that it was going to be Brainiac. It was rumors it was going to be, maybe Lex Luthor behind the scenes, but someone in front of the scenes, and they were building up to Lex Luthor maybe in the end of the trilogy, something like that. So basically 2 questions going on here, because I'm totally cool with Lex Luthor being the main villain. I know that some people think he's been a little bit too used. I mean, we had him in the Donner films for 2 of them. We had him in Superman Returns. We had him in Batman versus Superman. Have we been overdone with Lex Luthor? I personally don't think so. And I think Superman Legacy or the James Gunn Superman movie, he's really trying to harken back to the Superman of old. I think Richard Donner is a really big influence on this movie for James Gunn, and I think he's going to try and remind the audience as much as he can about the optimistic Boy Scout Superman films of that time, and that will set it apart from what we've gotten in the DCEU for the DCU. I'll throw it to you first, Frank. What do you think of Lex Luthor being the villain for Superman? And do you think that James Gunn just needs to chill a bit when it comes to people talking about his movie? Do you think he just needs to sometimes let it lay low and just keep his mouth shut and just wait for the movie to come out to let us know what's going on? What do you think about all this?
Well, first, that the way that comment initiated, the protagonist of Superman is, oh, no shocker, Superman, right?
Yeah,
I just love how that started. I look back into the time during his time with Marvel Studio when directing and writing the Guardians of the Galaxy. I mean, he just could not hold it in for much longer. He just shared, and that's why he's one of the only filmmakers who's actually the only filmmakers that we know who can just sprout out like these bits and bits of tease. And this is like just the biggest tease by far. Not just revealing who the antagonist is, but yeah, those emoji at the very end is questionable AF. But I love the fact that that Lex will still be the villain. I mean, mostly for me, I want to see Nicholas Hoult kind of embody that.
Yeah.
And the other side also, because I mentioned before that I'm watching Smallville, I'm in season 9 already, is that I really can't help but think like are they going to take chunks, huge chunks from the storyline of what we saw in Smallville and kind of like bring it to the big screen in Superman Legacy? Because from seasons 1 through 7, I would say it's basically Lex is like the background villain until he's revealed to be like the main villain obviously the entire time by season 7 of Smallville. But that's just to throw that out there. But other than that, I'm pretty excited for seeing Lex as a villain. So.
Well, I mean, I'm a little conflicted. On the one hand, Lex Luthor, like, even in live action or animation, he feels like the go-to villain. And I mean, there's a reason why he's the go-to villain. He is like effortlessly charismatic, yet ruthlessly evil. And yeah, on the other hand, it's like, I mean, there are other villains like Brainiac. I mean, they've used him as a Superman villain quite a bit, and he's always been pretty fun. But it's, I don't know, I'm a little conflicted. As for James Gunn's Twitter proclivities, I know he's on Threads, but it's Twitter by Facebook, essentially. I think even Ryan Johnson would be like, yo, dude, you gotta ease off a bit there, pal.
Well, the thing is, too, is James Gunn, like Frank was saying with Guardians of the Galaxy, he was a director hired by the studio. So I think he did have a little bit of trouble keeping a lid on some things, but he also had Kevin Feige, he had Bob Iger being like, dude, you need to like, you can't reveal this, you gotta stay quiet, we have strict secrecy rules over here at Marvel. Whereas now James Gunn is the head of a studio, you don't have any, well, I mean, he's got David Zaslav, but besides from that, he doesn't really have anyone managing him in that way. So if he wants to say something, he's just going to say something. But he is the head of a studio now. This is not going to be the first time where someone's going to talk rumors and talk about his movie in ways that he might not like them talking about his movie. And if he's getting into this habit, which it's been going on for a while now, of every time he sees something that he doesn't like said or knows isn't true about his movie, he has to come out and just tell people it ain't true. And T, I'm wondering, first of all, do you think the inclusion of Lex Luthor is going to help bring a familiarity back to the audience of why they love Superman in the first place? And do you agree with me? Do you think that James Gunn, now being the head of a studio, he has a different role to play in his social media game at this point?
So as far as the social, I think he's playing the social media game as if he is a young social media influencer, which I think is the wrong thing to do as a person in charge of a very flawed cinematic universe. Like even though we've all said the DCEU is dead, quote unquote, he's kind of playing with house money, I think, and he's kind of leaning into it a little too far. And I don't think it's going to work out for him in the end. I don't think these DC movies are going to be that great, in all honesty. And I only say that with, like, there are people who fondly remember Guardians of the Galaxy 2. I don't. I'm not one of those people who hold that in very high regard. I feel, and I wasn't one of those people who really loved Guardians of the Galaxy 3 either.
I'm in the same boat.
I thought it had its moments, but to me, he's not like a very known commodity to like base your entire universe around, especially with the way he rolled everything out right before he finished the DCEU, which literally gave us no reason to want to watch The Flash or Aquaman. Like, this is kind of like, if you've been paying attention to how he's done things with this reboot, it's been done incorrectly. Like, it's like he hasn't done himself any favors. He's like hyped things up, but by the time Superman actually comes out, like, I feel like the hype train, especially after Deadpool versus Wolverine, like, I feel like that hype train is kind of gonna die down a lot. As far as Lex Luthor being the villain, so what I read is he took a lot of inspiration or at least initially he was taking a lot of inspiration from All-Star Superman, which is, to me, is the greatest Superman story ever told, other than, the death of Superman, which has been done infamously in, Batman versus Superman.
Right.
But All-Star Superman, if you've never watched the DC animated movie, is the best animated, like, cartoon superhero movie that I've ever. I'm a big Superman fan, by the way. Like, I grew up on the Richard Donner stuff, and I loved, even though Gene Hackman hammed it up the entire time, like, I still enjoyed, that Lex Luthor. But All-Star Superman, the Lex Luthor in that, if they can pull it off, Nicholas Hoult is like the perfect casting for it too. Like, it's something you need to, if you've never watched it, watch it. It's a great Superman story, and Lex Luthor is definitely the main villain in that, even though there are, of course, other superpower villains because he is Superman. Like, underpowered Lex Luthor doesn't really make sense being a main villain against the son of Krypton, like the last son of Krypton. Like, it just doesn't make any sense. So there'll definitely be somebody else. There has to be somebody else that could at least have a good fight with them, unless they bring the Lex Luthor Kryptonian suit, which is a terrible choice for a main villain. And if they do that, then once again, James Gunn will prove me right, that he is not perhaps the best person to lead DC into the next, generation.
All right. So not the biggest fan of James Gunn. Okay. Of the James Gunn and DC, anyways.
Yeah. When is Superman Legacy coming out?
It's only
Supposed to come out
Next
next year. Yeah.
I think like July next year or something like that.
Next year. Okay.
They're shooting right now. I mean, you can just go to James Gunn's thread. He's posting pictures from the set.
Oh yeah, for sure. He's got the planner there. You could click on it, so see what they're doing.
He's got their shooting schedule up and loaded. He's got the call sheets up there. You know exactly when someone's coming in. And
it's the whiteboard.
Look, I am a fan of James Gunn, and when he was brought on to do DC Studios, I was all for it. And he's paired up with Peter Safran too, so we can't forget about Peter Safran there as well. And I'm still all for it, but I do think that he's got to restrain himself just a little bit. Like, as much as I love knowing things about a movie, that excitement does wear off, because I love speculation. I love the theorization, and I don't want him to take that away, because every time we theorize, he's like, no, you're wrong, and here's what actually is happening. And it's like, oh, okay. Well, that kind of takes the fun out of it. But regardless of that, James Gunn revealing that Lex Luthor is the villain of Superman. Do we buy or sell Lex Luthor as the main villain for the Superman? I'm gonna buy it.
Yeah,
I think it works. I'm looking forward to Nicholas Hoult, and I think you get people back on board with Superman, you get them loving this character, and then you bring on the new villains and you do really creative and ambitious stuff with that. Joker 2. We have been speculating about this movie for quite a while now. Todd Phillips came out and said it's kind of a musical, but not really a musical. There's music in it, but it's not. We're like, what? What is going on? Is it a musical? Is it not a musical? Well, we've gotten an official update for Joker 2, and it may be more of a musical than some of us were expecting, because this comes to us from Variety. Though plot details are being kept under wraps, Variety exclusively reveals in March that the film will mostly be a jukebox musical, integrating at least 15 reinterpretations of well-known songs. One is said to be That's Entertainment from the 1953 musical The Bandwagon, made famous by Judy Garland. However, one or two original songs may find their way onto the soundtrack. So I've talked about this on Zach Milton Talks Live, so I won't go too far into my thoughts on this. What I will say is I'm very curious and interested to see this, because I don't feel like we've had a comic book movie as a straightforward musical like ever. At least not this high profile, this high tentpole. So the fact that we're getting this something this new and unique into the genre, especially at the time where the genre has the whole superhero fatigue wrapped around it, I think this is the perfect time to try something this ambitious. But I'll throw it to you first, T. 15 songs, reinterpretations in Joker 2. Is this what you wanted to hear? Were you someone who wanted to see this be a full-on musical? What are your thoughts on all this, man?
Okay.
Great start.
I don't know what a jukebox musical is, but I've heard it was a musical from the beginning. I don't know if you guys watched like the CW universe, like every single superhero show on the CW universe. I think it started with Scrubs, where they had like a full episode where everybody was singing. I don't know where this came from. I don't know when that like became a thing on sitcoms. And then there was this small movie called The Marvels, where that might have been it. Small movie called The Marvels, where they went to a planet where everybody sang, like that's how they spoke. And that was like everybody hated that part of the movie. Like that was like the most to me, like from what I didn't think it was terrible, but there were online critics who just like roasted that scene, like that whole planet.
So hung up.
Yes. So here we go. We go to Joker Part 2, Folie Deux. I wasn't a big fan of the original Joker. I'm one of the 5 people who hated it. There was no part about that movie that I enjoyed. I understood what it was trying to do. It just didn't do it for me. Adding Lady Gaga, Harley Quinn is like the most overused character now. Like now that she's become like, thank goodness Margot Robbie didn't come back for it. I'm over her portrayal of Harley Quinn, and I'm not looking forward to this. People are gonna watch it and they're gonna say it's so different, and I'm probably I'll be surprised if I enjoy it. And I enjoy musicals. I'm a big musical person. I just don't think the Joker is the place for it. And I will eat my words if they can prove me wrong. But I don't see it happening. Like I didn't enjoy Todd Phillips' take on original Joker. So I don't think I'm gonna enjoy this one either.
I think a jukebox musical just means they do cover songs. Like the songs have already been written from other movies, but they're just gonna like redo them in this movie because it says that there might be one or two originals in there. I hope they do. I Feel Looney from The Killing Joke. I hope that they somehow find a way to get that in there. The animated movie of Killing Joke, with all of its flaws, I really did like Mark Hamill's rendition of I Feel Looney. So I would love to see that happen in this movie. But Ryan, what do you think? Joker 2, 15 songs, all reinterpretations. Is this what you wanted to hear? Are you excited to see what they do with this? Or are you kind of like T over here where you're like, I just think this seems like a really bad idea?
Well, let me begin. I really enjoyed Joker. As for the music, I'm really interested because, well, you kind of beat me to it with Killing Joke and the I Feel Looney song. But I mean, again, like, while the comic book genre isn't known for musicals, Joker, I mean, he's kind of an entertainer almost, a very demented one. And kind of part of that has been a lot of songs. Like you said, I Feel Looney, but even going all the way back to like 1989 with Joker, like the man used Prince songs to hype himself up. And again, he's not singing the songs, but he might as well be. Like, I don't know, the way he's Jack Nicholson moving to the beat, it's like, okay, all right, this could work. This could work.
The only way I can confidently say that is going to work is if the story truly holds its ground and honor what the title is, Folie à Deux. For those who don't know, in French that means madness for two. So I really want to reach out and really notice and truly live through the experience that I'm watching two folks that are doing whatever it is that they're going to be doing out of spite, out of madness, out of hysteria. You know, give me a Joker and a Harley Quinn, and if you're going to introduce it in an art style with musical or playlist in that sort of way, then show me something. You know, show me on the big screen, you know, illustrating, you know, that madness, you know, that is that Joker that we so know for decades, really.
Well, we are going to get a glimpse of the madness next Tuesday, or if you're watching this on Monday, we're going to get it tomorrow on April 9th. We're going to be getting a little glimpse at the trailer, and I, for one, very, very curious. I think this is probably my most anticipated trailer after Deadpool and Wolverine now has come out. I think this is my most anticipated trailer for the rest of the year. I'm so curious to see what they put in here. But until we get that trailer, do we buy or sell what we're hearing? Do we buy or sell Joker being a full-on musical with 15 reinterpreted songs? I'm going to buy it. I think it sounds just so unique. And he is on the fence, or is that thumb going lower? Nope, staying on the fence. Okay, he's on the fence. We're all thumbs up. All right. Well, we'll see what that trailer brings us tomorrow. So I want to thank all you guys for joining and being members. And please tell people where they can find you. All your links are down in the description below, of course. But Ryan, we'll start with you. Where can people find you online?
You can find me on YouTube at Movie Reviews with Ryan Lane. I release movie reviews about 1 to 2 movie reviews per week. I also review movies on Letterboxd at Movie Reviews with Ryan Lane.
Yeah, you guys can find me on YouTube, Instagram, and Twitter X as Optimistic Forever. And you could also find me on Letterboxd with the same username.
You can find me on YouTube at Have You Seen That with T, and I'm on Letterboxd as Have You Seen That. I'll be posting my Monkey Man review today and my WrestleMania Night 1 and Night 2 watch-alongs this evening.
Perfect. I'm looking forward to checking out your Monkey Man review. All right, guys. Thank you once again for joining the show. We'll be back again next week. And for Michael Entity, who his internet crashed, definitely check him out. He's still in the description below. Check out Michael. And he's got a movie coming out later this year called Riley, his directorial. I think it's his directorial debut, if I'm not mistaken. But yeah, Super excited for that. I'm pretty sure he said Tubi and Amazon, but you can go to his channel. He's probably got more information there. Other than that, you can find me right here on this channel where you're at currently. Take care, guys. We'll talk to you again soon.
All right. Bye.